Howdy, Beeflabart here, and welcome. Okay, so this is a challenge that was put to me. I did the video earlier on setting up a television to actually play videos, and these were actual MP4 videos, and they use sound attenuation. Everything works great, no problem, and yeah, there it is right there. Since it is a video that contains copyright music, I will not play it in this video because I don't want that issue. And yes, that does actually work. Whenever you step on it, it begins rotating. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to start with a fresh map so I don't have any distractions whatsoever. And we'll make this a new level, nothing in it, nothing special. I'm going to do what I usually do on every single solitary map that I do. And just create a basic blank space to work with. And let's actually make that -10, and I'll do this to 1000 by 2000 by 10. So I have my normal, and I will do save current, save this as new test. Whatever. So now we have a blank map, no distractions, nothing special. I'm going to grab my player start and I'm going to shove its ass right over here, and I'm going to make sure that I do game mode override to third person game mode, and there we go. And this is going to be using Cindy Studios assets, and this is also going to be using music from TechnoAxe. The music from TechnoAxe is royalty free, so I'll be able to use his stuff. So first thing I'm going to do is, just for shits and grins, so that we actually have something to work with here. That's sci-fi. I don't want that one. I want the Polygon Town. You could use any of them, but I think this one has a radio in it. Go to Mesh, and I'm going to go to Props, and I'm just going to set up a table. I'm going to put a radio on it, and that's what we're going to go with. So, you know what? Good enough. We have a coffee table, and yeah, we're going to use this one. And I will go ahead and 0, 0, 0, rotate it just so it suits my needs. And you don't have to get all this freaking elaborate just for a demo, but I was challenged to do this on the fly, so I'm doing this on the fly. No prior setup whatsoever. I didn't pick out any music at a time. This is going to be all on the fly. So we've got a table, and I need a radio, and I know that there's at least one that I can use in here to set up with. And this is going to be good enough. So I'm going to throw this stereo here on the table. Just going to rotate it so we can look at it. And I'll throw the speakers up here. Alright, so we got some speakers. And let's be cool and let's throw a subwoofer in there too. Not like it matters, but okay, we have our basic radio. That's what we need there. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my gadgets folder, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder. I'm just going to call this new folder. I don't care. And I'm not going to worry about building lighting. I don't care about that either. So that's that, but I will save it. Now we're going to go ahead and create a blueprint, and I'm going to call this my radio. Okay, open that up. We have lots of stuff in here. Okay, so we could actually add the radio in here and do all that stuff, but it's not really any point to do that. What we're going to do here is we're going to do audio. We're going to do the simple method first, and I'm just going to go ahead and save this. Go to the event graph, and we won't have anything in here. We are going to come off of event begin play, and I will actually come back to this in just a moment. So we need music, and what I'm going to do here is actually already have a song here, and this is one again from from Technoax. This one has already been converted to a WAV, and I'm just going to copy it over to that new folder, and I've renamed it. I'm going to rename it again, radio_tune. Okay, so the first method is to do this, is to actually have a WAV file. You can go to, if you haven't used it already, you can go to Audacity and convert your MP3 into a WAV file. This is going to be the simple version. I'll go into a different version here in just a few moments. So with that, you can actually just use the WAV file if you want to. So if you go in here and, I just put the branch in there for a placeholder, and you can do play sound at location, and if you want to be precise, you can actually give it a location. But if you don't do anything, you just do play sound at location, and you do and that one was called radio. Well, radio tune. So do that and go in here and drop this in, and it's going to play that tune. So we go in here and play, and it's playing, but it's going to cover the entire map. It may not be what you want. So instead of it actually doing just that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on my radio tune. I'm going to create a queue, and I'm not even going to bother renaming it. So it's a radio tune queue. I'm going to go into it, and if I want to, I can set it up to loop. That's the first thing you can do with this. You can adjust your volume as well. However, you can also do that in here if you click this, and you can actually set the attenuation, which is the next thing we're going to build. You can set your location manually. You can change the volume level, so if you don't want it to play full volume, you can do it at 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, whatever, and cut the volume down manually. So all we've done is just that, and now we can actually come in here and select the radio queue. The only thing that we've done differently so far is, now that we've put it in a sound queue, is whenever this song actually ends, it will begin looping again. And okay, that's fine, but we want attenuation. So I'm going to go into sounds here and sound attenuation, and I'm going to call this radio AT. I'm going to go into that, and I can set it up to be linear, sphere. I can change it from sphere to a capsule, a box, a cone. It's up to you to experiment with those. I'm going to leave it like this, but I'm going to change this number right here. Since our area is only 2,000, I'm going to change this to 1,200. So what that's going to do is it's going to allow it to actually, now if we click in here, the attenuation settings, we can set it in here to radio attenuation and save. So now that we're actually using our cue instead of our actual sound, if I come over here, you can barely hear it, but then you get close enough, it'll actually start playing. Alright, so that's the simple method, and you can, like I say, you can make some tweaks right here. What I would actually do is, since you're playing it from 000, so that you're not having to do that, let's go ahead and let's add a scene component. Scene component just does nothing. It's just an invisible little node. And I'm getting a reference to my scene component. And then I'm going to get world location. And I'm going to plug that into here. So now we actually have a location. So what that is going to do for us, since we put the the actual blueprint. We made a blueprint for it. You could just drag the cue in here and be done with it. But since we're going to keep upgrading here, now you don't hear anything at all. Because before it was playing from the 000 location, now it's playing only at the radio location. So now if I get close to the radio, it'll get louder until I get right next to the radio. Then I walk away from it. You don't hear it anymore. So instead of it playing from right here, it's playing here at the radio. That way, if you want to set it up to where, you know, in your blueprint, you can actually have more in there. But this is all I'm doing for that, and it works. It's everything we need. It's utilizing a sound cue, and it has attenuation, and this will get the job done. But whenever you put a WAV file in here, that file, if you look at it, is going to be considerably larger, like 55 megabytes for a song that's not really that big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and find an actual MP3. And I think we'll go with, so all of these came from TechnoX. Well, I like that one, but let's find something a little less. Alright, so I don't know if you can see, but this is an actual MP3 format. So what I'm going to do is I've already created a folder for my video from the video earlier, and it's actually going to be in my project that I'm currently located. Is a movies folder, and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to copy it into my movies folder and just say copy here. So now it's in here the same with the two videos from the other video. So now I'm actually going to go ahead and delete all these guys, even the one that's in the map, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of it. Force delete. It's gone. So no more cheating. Go in here and play. There's no more radio, no more sound. So let's start from scratch all over again. So instead of it being that way, and let's go ahead and do save all so everything's good. Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to sound. Actually, I'm going to go to media. Do a file media source. And I'm going to call this radio tune. I don't remember what the name of the song was. It was what? PCH Highway. PCH HWY. I'm going to go into it, and it's going to ask me for a file path. So now I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go to the folder where it's located in my project. Select it and hit open and save. And now I actually have an actual media source. So now if I go in here and go to media and media player, video output media texture asset. I don't need one, so I'm not going to check that. So I'm going to call this our PCH MP for a media player. I already have another media player in this project, so I'm just going to name it something totally different. I'm going to go in here, and I want just the song here. Double click on it. It says no video track. And that's our song. I'm going to go ahead and click on looping inside here. This is an actual MP3, so save that. And now that we actually have our media player for that, let's go ahead and create a new blueprint. And this is going to be our radio now. Our radio script. We're just going to call it radio. Go into the radio, and we don't need anything. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and add a scene component just so we have something there. And then go to event graph, compile, save, delete these two guys, go from our event begin play. And now, again, I haven't done this before, so I'm just kind of making this up as I go along. So if it doesn't work, then oops. But if it does work, then I'm like, ah, yeah, see, I knew what I was doing. Okay, so let's try adding a, we don't want audio, and there is a, not audio capture, well, let's just type in media sound right there. So we've got our media sound component. If we click on it, I'm going to go ahead and hit compile and save. So I click on my media sound, we can select our media player, and it's PCH MP, compile and save. So now we have a reference to that. We can actually set our attenuation, which is, I deleted it, okay. So I'll go ahead and create it again, go to sounds, sound attenuation, and radio AT for my radio attenuation. We're going to take this back down to 1,000 and save. Enable spatialization. That's something to remember there. So now we'll look right here in our media sound, and we select our radio attenuation, allow spatialization, and there we go. So let's compile and save. And from here, probably going to need a media source. So I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call this my media player. Then I'm going to come right over here to the variable type, and I'm going to call this a media player, and there's right here, and I want to get an object reference. Okay, now compile and save, and again I'm going to refer to my PCH MP. I compile and save 9 billion times. You can't do it too much. So grab a reference to our media player, and open source, connect that in here, select my source, and there it is, PCH highway, and that's my sounds. Compile and save. But since this is playing that, how do we get our attenuation? Well, let's make sure this works, and then I'll come back in and take a look at it, because I've already created this media sound component, and if I get this media sound component, and I don't know what to do with that. We'll come back to that. So this is going to call and open our source and start playing it. So let's grab our radio, and I'm going to drop it in right here and hit play. You can see that it has attenuation, so we'll figure it out. I don't hear it, and the attenuation's working. First shot. Damn, it feels good to get something right the first time. It happens. Occasionally I don't screw up. You're back. Now you completely missed everything. I'm done now. I've already done it. 2 different methods. And the attenuation works. Can't hear the music? Now you can. Awesome stuff, right? So basically, again, I didn't even use the media sound component that I actually did. I actually just used the media player here, and I had the media sound component in here, referring to everything and the attenuation set up, but I didn't actually call it anywhere in the blueprint. All I did was I made this, and I ran open source, and there you go. You want me to start from scratch and do it all over again? But you can come back and watch the video later. Screw you, I ain't gonna do it. But let's add a second song in here. The whole concept here of this, it works. You know, it's gonna play a song. Technically speaking, if you just wanted to keep playing the same, the same thing over and over and over and over again, is what it's gonna do. Because whenever I was in my media player, I selected the track that I'm doing, and I selected loop, and play on open is fine. So I select that, it's not going to loop now. So as soon as the song ends, it's just going to stop. Okay. But if I wanted it to play again, I could have left the loop in there. However, if I go to the files and I look, this was an MP3, and the song length is 3 minutes and 12 seconds. So technically speaking, we could throw in delay here, delay, and do this the cheese method, and I said 3 minutes 12 seconds, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So we have like a 3-second pause. So 3 times 6 is, holy crap, now I gotta do math too. Damn it, Skippy. Yeah, so 1 minute 60, 2 minutes 120, so 180, 183. I don't like math. I really don't. So 183 seconds, then we can have it play the next song in our list this way. And would do basically the same thing. And all we would do is just grab reference from our media player and open source. Shove that guy in there. And I'm going to grab another MP3 just because I know you can't see what I'm doing because I'm off to a different monitor. And that was Driving the PCH Remastered. And let's go. Blood Out. That sounds good. So you try something else here. I love this song right here for some reason. Battle Cat. I've listened to that one probably 300 times. It's 3 minutes and 18 seconds, and I'm going to grab that one, and I'm going to go to my project folder, wherever the hell it is. I got way too many shit open, and I'm going to copy that in here. I'm using the same movies folder that I did before, and I'm just going to abbreviate the name of this. It's just Bad Ol' Cat. I like this song. So just going to rename it. It didn't have to, but so we've got, you can see it's an MP3. And now I'll go back in here and let's compile, save, go back to here. Go in here, we want to add another file media source. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to media, file media source, and Bad Ol' Cat. Going to open that up. Click on here for my file path. It's in the same folder. So I click on the MP3, select open, save, close that guy, come back to here, and now my PCH MP, I can go in here and there's our song. Good to go. And now I can actually come right here to my list or my media player open source and select Bad Ol' Cat. Or if I want to just go ahead and nuke that and just play this song only, what I will look into is actually setting up to where you can actually have an interface for the music. Gotta dance, right?
Remember days you hold my hand, walk the streets, you the man. Did you know those days are gone?
So yeah, that was it. I mean, that's, and just for Skippy, sorry, I had to do this. Sorry, this one's a timed one. I can't stop this one. This one runs for 24 seconds for the little sound clip that I've got. Cash is floating up in the air. He's doing his little dance. And you're stuck in that location until it gets done doing its thing for its 24 seconds. So yeah,
It was a hard time for me. Once upon a time, a little
yeah, I mean, right now I can sit there, since that one's playing, that's a whole separate media source. I'm playing both of them at the same time. I don't know if you really hear it or not, because one's overriding the other. Oh yeah, I mean, you could play 2 songs back to back. Like, this is 3 minutes and 18 seconds. I could actually just come in here and do a delay and put in the time. It was like 180 seconds or whatever, and then like 185. So you get the time and seconds of how long the song actually is, and then from your media player you can just come right here and just do open source and play the next one. Now, I know that there is a way for actually doing this, and there's the PCH highway. So now I'm not going to sit here and make you guys listen to the entire song for 3 minutes and then wait for the pause and then play the next one. Probably should have picked a couple little short things, but you get the idea. So this actually plays an MP3 that you can create a list that way. You don't really need to make an enumerator for actually pulling up, because you got your media source this way, and you can pick, and these are all audio, so it's not like you're having to worry with the videos. Yeah, there is, and like I said, that's one thing I haven't gotten into yet. And this I've never done before, so made this up on the spot, and it worked perfectly the first try. With media player, if you don't know how to use something, drag off from it and see what its options are. Get media right here, and what I want to do is find something to do with the media player. So media player right here. Assign on end reached. So not really sure, but it sounds like to me, whenever the end of it is reached, it can go to the next one. Assign on seek completed. Playback resumed and suspended, so I'm assuming that you can pause it. Since there is a resume and suspended. So let's actually see what we can do. Can pause. You could use a trigger box. So if you, and that's the quickest method, is I would apply a trigger box just so I could walk into it and trigger it back and forth. But you can set it up in a widget. You can set it up in another blueprint. You can set it up on a keybind. So you can just say, if I hit the F key, it's going to start playing the radio. But you got right here, number of tracks. Get player name, get playlist. So you can actually make playlist this way. And I said, if you don't know how to use something, open it up and figure it out. You know, it's, I don't know. I've never tried this shit before. Is playing, is pause, is preparing, is ready, next, open file, open playlist index, open URL. So if it's actually online, you could do it that way. Pause. Right there is a pause. So I'm going to go ahead and get pause, and I'm going to go ahead and get play. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, just lack of a better way of doing it, I'm going to do that. I'm going to set up a, since we're doing it all this in a blueprint, if look in our viewport, there's nothing in our viewport, so I'm going to add a cube, and we're going to call this play cube, and I'm going to change the material to blue. Okay, and I'm just going to move, or I'm going to resize it to 0.1, and I'm going to shift it to the side just so that we have a play button. We're going to make a play button and we're going to make a pause button. Okay, I'm going to add another component of a cube, and we're going to call this our pause cube, not cube W, but this will be our pause cube. And shit, I just cannot spell tonight. Pause cube. And we're going to change the color of it to red. And I just happen to have those materials already in this project. Point 1. So, just because it's there, we need to go ahead and put on a overlap and grab that guy. I'm just going to drag these out so they'll be in front of the table. So add a component of a box collision. We'll do this as a play box. I said I'm just totally making this shit up as I go along here. And we'll just make that 1.5 by 1.5 by 1.5. I don't care. So it picks our cube. Lovely. Control C, Control V, so I can copy and paste. Put another one over here for our, we'll call this our pause box. So, play box and pause box. Go into our event graph, compile, save. We've already got play and pause already pulled out here. And let's actually cast to player and get our player character reference. So we're going to do that. We're going to cast to our player and we're going to play box on component begin overlap. And what I want to do here is, let's play. And on pause box overlap and bring down our pause. However, we're just getting it from above. Open media source. So, hell, I'm pretty sure this is not going to actually work here. Yeah, because we actually have to have our player reference down here. So we're going to break that and need that and that actually attached to down here. Because we have our overlap boxes here, and let's go ahead and break that. On component begin overlap, cast to our player character, and we can just do other actor. We don't even need that. And from there, we're going to play. And we'll just do cast to player. Connect that to there and that to there. I'm pretty sure this is not going to work on the first shot because that just doesn't look like it's going to work. Because on begin play, we are, let's see here. You know, from source we just have open source. I'm actually going to dump that. Bring this down here. And yeah, so once we overlap, then we're going to open source. Excuse me, let me get it from here. Open source. And that'll be our battle cat. Not battle cat, but bad old cat. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that getting onto the play box. Oh crap. Grab my radio. And spin it around. It's not going to matter for the attenuation because it's still set to spherical. Alright, so let's hit play. So it starts playing as soon as we step on it to trigger it and play. But that's not what we really wanted to. I stepped on the red box and it started playing. Stepped on blue. Well, that worked. So I step right here. We trigger the pause. Huh. I'll be damned. How dare that shit work on the first try? So let's go back over here and event begin play. And let's put it back in there to actually start playing. And get a media player reference here again. And let's open source from begin play. So it is playing. And we want to play Battle Cat. Okay, so now that's doing that. And we do here, let's drag out from this and play. So when a player steps on the play box, it resumes playing in theory, but we step on the pause box, it pauses it. So, okay, we got music, pause, play. It's already playing, so it's not going to do anything when we hit play anymore. But I can come over here and pause it and continue it. First try. Alrighty then. So, yeah, like I said, I've never used this stuff before. So, I mean, just because I'm doing overlapping boxes where you step on a box, okay, that's one thing. But you can actually do the same thing because as long as you get your reference to your media source, you can then play and pause from right there. I mean, what else can you do from that? Just drag off from your media player reference and go down to media, and you got media player. And I just started reading through here. You got, yeah. So the next thing to actually look into is playlist. Because apparently if there is a, this is for video, so you could do, I'm assuming you can get video tracks and have multiple videos playing this way. Get is looping, is pause, is playing, preparing, ready. You got, holy crap. Wow. You've got next, open file, open playlist index, open source, open URL, pause, play, previous, reopen, rewind, seek, select track, set block on time, set desired player name, looping, native volume. Wow. Okay, so there's a volume control right there. Set it to a native volume, but can you actually control the volume? Set view rotation. I don't know if that's going to really do anything, but yeah, that's wow. Okay, so you got get and set events, but or at least get events right here. So you can do queries like for getting audio track channels and things like that. Get URL, but with the actual function calls here of next, open playlist, it makes me want to go ahead and see what I can do to create a playlist. Like I said, again, I've never tried. Open playlist. So what happens whenever you create the actual node? Okay, so there is no playlist here. So go to media playlist. You know, that would be probably a good indicator where we'd want to go to is media playlist and radio underscore playlist. It's probably a good start. Oh, gee, here's Battlecat and there's my PCH. So there's nothing here in it. So let's click this and let's click Battlecat is in the playlist now. And let's click on there and oh wait, PCH is now on the playlist. So I'm going to save that. Now that's how you can create a playlist, by having all those files associated as file media sources in your project. So if we come back in here, select the playlist, hey look, radio playlist. And there we go. Since there is a pin here, I'm assuming that you can actually create a variable and make that your playlist. So open playlist, and what do you do from there? Well, I would assume that let's go to media player again. Yeah, because I don't see anything directly in here. So let's come back off of our media player one more time. So we open the playlist. That's cool. We actually can open a playlist. So let's go back to media player. And let's actually do, instead of pause and play, since we know that works, select track. Well, we want something to do with our next and back would seem logical. So if we hit next, I'm going to close that because we actually know that we have a playlist here. Let's get rid of play and pause. Again, we know those work. So when we step on the play box, which is the blue box, we're going to hit next. We're going to do next. And then let's come off of here, and for our red box, let's try something else off of the red box. Close. So we got next on the blue box. Previous. So let's put previous on the red one. So just shits and grins. These are also things that if you can do it with a box collision where you can walk back and forth, then you can do this in a widget. You can do it wherever. Battlecat is playing right now. So let's Okay. It just restarted it. Okay, so next and previous needs something else to it. Opens playlist index. 01. Yep, I don't know. So that's that, but maybe we need to open a playlist instead of open source. So let's drag off from here and open playlist. But if we open playlist, it's just gonna, I don't know if that's actually gonna play the songs and start playing them. It's just opening the playlist. Yeah, so that's actually not going to work because it's just pulling that out. And, you know. So what else can we try on this one? Yeah, so I don't know. It's not getting from the playlist there. In playlist, this, okay. And compile. I don't know. Variable playlist. And let's try creating a playlist. Media playlist. Okay. Object reference. And compile, save. And let's get from our variable here our radio playlist. Let's grab that variable out and see what we can do with it. Get playlist. And no. Aha. So what if we did this and this and this, and it didn't like that. So get next. Return value. There's nothing on play here. Or open, or start. Media playlist, no. Media source, new. Okay, so that's something to look into. I don't know. This is, the playlist thing is new to me. But I mean, if you grab your playlist, what happens if you just open source here, and we'll put on the blue one because it's a bluesy song, Battle Cat, and then from here we'll just do open source, and we'll use this one as PCH. So what happens if we just hit these buttons? We'll will it stop the other song and start playing the other one? Yeah, you're talking about something totally different there. All right, so nothing's playing from start. So we run over to the blue button, and we start playing that song. Run over that button, it stops playing the other one and starts playing the other one. Blue song is blue tile is Battle Cat. Red tile is PCH Highway. Works. So why not create a widget, since you're doing basically all this stuff right here, and you're coming up with open source, you're casting to the player, you're pulling a media source in there, so that's wonderful. I'm gonna, just for shits and grins, let's actually go into the player character. As if I don't have enough crap in here already. Just find us an empty space to work with. And zoom in. We're going to create a variable, and it's going to be our media player. And I'm going to go ahead and go to here, and media player. And then I'm just going to do this, get the object reference, compile, and select my PCH MP. That's the one we're working with. Compile and save. So if I hit the keyboard, 3 doesn't currently have anything on it. So we're going to do that. And we're going to create a widget. Compile and save. And now, here's the thing is with the radio blueprint that we just created. We actually have a radio blueprint. We can actually still use that radio blueprint and use that as our call. And with that radio... Ooh. Where the hell did I put it? Where did I put it? Where the hell's the damn blueprint? Oh, that's it right there. Never mind. So yeah, we actually have the radio here. We can actually, since we're able to call the we're not worried about the overlaps anymore. So let's actually, if we want to, get rid of delete, 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 and delete. Go to our event graph, delete. And I might as well delete that too. So compile and play, and there's nothing in here. So our radio does nothing now. It does have a reference to our media player and our playlist, but we don't have anything on begin play. It's just that. So if we do, we can actually, I'll come back to the radio blueprint, but I like to do this as a call so I can refer to this radio and be able to change the radio station from a widget blueprint. So make sure you close that down, and if you look, our radio is still here, our attenuation is still there, but there's nothing in the playlist. It's not telling it to play any music, nothing. So in our player base, we're going to call a widget. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, do a user interface, widget blueprint, radio underscore W for a widget, and open it up. And it does not have to be anything special. I'm going to go ahead and create panel. Let's put a vertical box. I want it to populate in the upper right hand corner, and let's just make it here. What the hell, let's do to here. I'm only going to have 2 songs, so I'm going to grab a button, drop it in here, and throw some text on it. And I'm just going to name this button to Bad Cat. I can have spaces in here. Bad Cat button. And then my text reference is just going to be Bad Ol' Cat. So that's the song that I want to play when I hit that button. And then the next thing I want to do here is go to primitives, grab a spacer, and I'm going to put it in to my vertical box. That spacer needs to be, here's dyslexia for you, 50, nope, that's the wrong one. So 50 in the Y, it's going to give me a nice little spacer right there. And then for right now, I'm going to copy this one and then paste it back into the same box. And I'm going to go ahead and rename that one to PCH button, and the text PCH remastered. So now we have that button right there. We can actually, if we want to, just for grins also, let's go ahead and make this even more fun and complicated at the same time. Let's go ahead and grab a horizontal box, throw it into the vertical box, and inside this horizontal box, well, actually we want another spacer, so we're going to copy that spacer, paste it back into the vertical box, and then we're going to drag it up so that it goes above there. So now we have this button, spacer, this button, and then we're going to have the horizontal box here. And I'm going to do a button in the horizontal box, and I'm going to put text in it. And we'll call this our pause button. And we're just going to type in pause. Okay. And then I'll grab another spacer just because I'm being cool and I want it. So this spacer, I will fill that spacer out as soon as I do the other button. So come back in here and put on a button in a horizontal box with text on it. And this is going to be our play button. And if I knew how to spell, there would be 2 T's in button. Not, again, that it matters, because I'm the only one that's ever going to see this, other than the 450,000 people that actually watch this video, hopefully. Play. So now I can go back to my spacer, and let's go ahead and 50. Nope. So we can just do this and fill, and it should, yeah, it fills it out. Okay. So now our vertical box, we're done with it for now. We're just going to have 2 songs, a play button and a pause button. Awesome, right? Okay. Graph. And we won't want anything. And what we're going to do is battle cat button on clicked. And then we're going to have PCH button on clicked, pause on clicked, and play on clicked. Then let's go ahead and get a variable media player. And again, let's go ahead and type it in as a media player. And we want the object reference here. And compile. Select our correct media player, compile, and save. Okay, so what I'll do here is I'll grab a reference to my media player, and I'm going to stick it right here in between these two, and I'm going to open source, drag one up here. This is the Battle Cat, and with that we're going to play Battle Cat. On this one right here, we're going to link down to there, link that to there, and you missed, you idiot. There we go. So that is that. We want to go to... Oh, quit being such a frickin' OCD prick. Damn your OCDs. Alright, so when we click on Battle Cat, it's going to play that song. Click on PCH, it's going to play that song. Then I'm going to get, just to be pretty, I'm going to get another reference to my media player. And I'm going to... When I click the pause button, I want to pause. There we go. Lovely. We hit the play button. We want to play. It's pretty much just a resume at that point. Compile, save. Now, here's what I'm going to do is come back to here, and I want to create a variable media. I want to call this my media window, whatever. And I'm just going to take that back to make it into a Boolean. I'm going to do, off of the key press 3, a flip-flop. And media window. And I'm going to set. So when I hit A, I want to set that to true. And then whenever I hit it again, I want to set it to false. Alright, so that being the case, if I come back in here into my radio, and if I hit, I hate to do it, but I'm going to run an event tick, and I want to cast to player underscore base, and I want to get a reference to my player character. And all I'm going to do from this is I'm going to get media window. Do I want my little media window to pop up, or do I want it to be there? So I'm going to hit a branch and tie it into there. And if I don't want it to be there, so I'm going to run this off of false, and I'm just going to do remove from parent. And it's going to tell the widget to kiss my ass and go away. Compile, save. So now, in here, we want to go ahead and, if it's the first press, we want to create a widget of the radio widget. Owning player, get player controller. And we want to add to viewport. And here's the thing, so we're gonna need mouse input because we're gonna need to click buttons, right? So we need to set show mouse cursor to true, but what I also want to do is set input to UI mode only. Yeah, pretty much. It should be, for as much as I spend more of my time awake during the nighttime. And then widget to focus on is that guy. And now we can move you to the end. And that should be that. So, when we press the 3 key, we're going to set media window to yes, we want it. We're going to create the widget. We're going to add it to the viewport. We're going to set our input to UI only, so our character freezes. We don't have any control of our character when we're adjusting our music. Then we're going to set show mouse cursor to true. Okay. Compost, save, and here, remove from parent. But before we remove from parent, we need to make sure we get rid of our mouse cursor. So let's go ahead and, from this false node, let's go ahead and set input to game only. So we're wanting to reverse what we did here. Set input to game only, and yeah, let's make sure we do this right. Set input mode to game only. Connect that to our faults. And we want to go ahead and get our player controller. And from our player controller, we need that one more thing of set show mouse cursor to faults. And then we go right into this sucker right here, remove from parent. So now that's going to get rid of our mouse cursor and set our game mode back, and we'll be able to continue playing. So let's see how badly I screwed this up. So we get in here and we got nothing. We come over here, the radio's not playing. We haven't set a location for it to play. We're not there yet. We're close. But if I go ahead and hit the number 3 key, we get our little window right here, and I can play Battle Cat. And I'm going to hit I don't have my number 3 key. So we can pause it, we can play it, change songs. Once I figure out the playlist thing a little bit better, I'll just have like, I can add in like a next and previous and rewind, and all, you can have all kind of different features on there. What did I forget here? Okay, so I couldn't press the 3, so let's actually change the set input mode. Let's try set input to game and UI. Just because I didn't have access to my number 3 key. Where I pressed it, it did nothing. So we'll get our player controller reference from here. Widget to focus from here. Alright, let's try that. Because, yeah, I usually just set it to like game mode only. So you're running around, you're doing your thing. You want to pull out your personal jukebox. You hit number 3, play some Battle Cat, hit number 3 key, widget goes away. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You're running around. You know what? I like that song, but let's go to PCH Remastered. Hit number 3, go back to playing again. So that song's playing. Holy crap. Do you hear the music? Huh. The attenuation is working for the radio. So essentially this has become my remote control for my radio right here. So phone rings. Oh, damn, I gotta pause the music. Okay. So yeah, so what were you saying here? You get on your phone, you're talking, okay. Get done with your phone call, you hit play again. Hit 3. Keep on going. So the radio is playing. It's playing from that same deal over there. My attenuation is set up on the radio, so it's like, and it's bound to that. So now I'm like, okay, well, I want to go back closer to the radio so I can listen to it. Now I start playing the song. Shit happens. I actually do things right sometimes. Bring up my remote control. Well, you can't really see that, so let's actually go back into my radio widget and go back to my designer screen. Can't see it. So I'm going to grab an image, and I'm going to anchor it to the top right as well. I'm going to just bring this over here, and I'm going to set the Z order to -1. So now I can grab this before I shove it underneath there and we don't see what it looks like. Go to my color and opacity, and if you want to be red, or let's just make it black, and let's set to 0.5 so you can actually see through it a little bit. And then I'm just going to drag this sucker right there, and drag it down here to go just below the remote control, and I'll drag this over to here. So now we have a little background behind it. It's anchored to the correct spot. Yep. Compile, save, play, so you're running around here. Man, it sure is quiet on here. I'd sure like to hear something out of my radio. So bring out the remote control, and let's hear some Bad Old Cat. Hit 3, put the remote away. Do your thing around town, or you could just sit here and dance to the music. Oh, shit happens, and I sometimes get things right. This was totally unscripted video, like most of my videos, and I had never done this ever before. I never messed with any of this stuff before, and excuse me, I am trying to talk. So let me hit the remote control really quickly, and let me just pause this and quit dancing for just a minute, and then just go ahead and hide the remote control. So yeah, I'd never done any of this before. The playlist thing, I'm gonna have to experiment with the playlist a little bit. We created a playlist, but I need to be able to access it and get control of it. It probably won't be that difficult, but I just have never done it, and it'll just take a little tinkering with. Oh, let's hit escape. So our radio playlist, all you got to do is just call your media from there. It shows all your media down here. All you have to do is hit a plus right here, or you get trash can and remove one. So I mean that's cool. It's just I don't know how to actually call them from the playlist. So we created a playlist in the radio itself. So let's actually open up the radio, and here's the all the stuff inside the blueprint for the that's all the stuff there. There's nothing there. All we did was we created a scene just so we'd have a little dot we could move around. We don't even need that anymore. But we created a media sound, and this media sound is going to come from this media player right here, which has the attenuation setting right here. So this is built into the actual radio component. I didn't have to add a model to it. And you said I can dump that. The only thing that's in the radio blueprint itself is a media sound, which then refers to the correct media player. In fact, I don't even need these two right here. I can get rid of them. I should be able to get rid of that and get rid of that. Hit compile and save. So the only thing that I've put in the radio blueprint itself is that media sound component, which links to the media player, and right here the attenuation setting that I want for that. So that's in there. This was just something I slapped together to make a little crappy remote control, but you could actually put this wherever you want. You could actually set it up with fancy cool buttons and decorate it however you want to, and actually make a full MP3 player. And that's essentially what I've done. Is I've created in the player, that's all I did was I set up keybind number 3, a flip-flop, use media window, no, don't use it, and I created a widget and the access to control it. Nothing really special. So as I say, you come in here, there's nothing playing on the radio whatsoever, and you come over here, hit the number 3 key, let's play the song, hit the 3 key, put my remote away, walk around my house, do my thing. But if I get too far away from my music, the attenuation cuts it off and I can't hear it, but it's still playing. And if you want to go back to your remote, you can pause, play. Let's see, if you're paused, what happens when you hit it? You can just pause the original song and then hit that one, or just hit that one. It'll stop that one and start playing that one. Awesome shit, right? So now let's save all, and I could throw this into the map that I've been screwing around with, which is the town map, or I could do in the other one. So what I was going to do anyway with this, right over here, there's a pool party going on, is what I'm going to be setting up with some animated characters and stuff like that. There's chairs to sit in, and right over here I'm going to actually put a radio and set up the speakers, so I can actually go ahead and go to my gadgets folder, which I'm going to take this out of this and actually make it legit. I'm going to grab my radio blueprint and I'm just going to drop it in here. And then I'm going to come over here and experiment two different things. I'm going to play from here. So walk over here and I want to check out the pool party. That's awesome, right? There's no music. The damn pool party has no music. So come over here, have a seat, open the playlist, close it back up, and jam. I mean, it's just physically sitting right here, but it's an invisible thing. We can attach it anywhere that we need to. So technically speaking, I could put it here, and I could come over here. Since if I get too far away, I could put it wherever I want to. So I'll set up a little radio right here like I did on the other map. A table with a radio, cooler, maybe some hot dogs on it, throw some shit on the grill, you know, chill out. Maybe come over here and sit down in the hot tub, just chill. Or maybe you just want to hop in the pool and go for a swim. Change the attenuation for this, but, you know, maybe sit on the edge of the pool and just listen to your music. So, and you get tired of it, you can just pause it. You know, get rid of your remote and go back to your FBI duties and do your thing. Challenge accepted and completed in two different fashions, and love it. Alright, time for me to take a break and find the drunk that ran into this friggin' light pole. I need to probably, I got the little spark emitter at the bottom. I got the sound playing. I probably should go ahead and like do a flashing light or something like that. Just to look like the light's flickering on and off because it's, you know, like damaged. Alright, so that's that. Challenge accepted, challenge completed. Moving right along. Take a break, and if you guys need anything, give me a shout. I'm probably going to be up for another, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes. And we'll see you guys soon. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned something.